Hey, Charles. Oh, just a moment, please. I think there's something wrong with my audio.
Oh, I actually had it muted, so I'd like freak you out.
Okay, good to meet you. I'm going to hit
Same.
record right
Yeah.
away. And I have to find the record button. I'm having a boomer moment here. Excuse me.
Oh no, it's a fact that like we all know that Zoom moves things around just to create chaos.
We're actually already recording.
Hey, even better yet, my friend, better yet.
Yeah,
So, dude, good to meet you.
thank you. I like to do a rolling start because I find that people are fresh at the beginning of a conversation. And
Hmm.
I try to not do this like a podcast with the intro and all that kind of stuff. I just try to make it a nice, simple, easy rolling conversation. And
Dude,
you and me have never met before.
no, we haven't. Jason says amazing things about you, so you are good.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. And yeah, I mean, I heard about you through some of the posts that you and Jason have been putting out on social because I knew Jason first. And you and
Mhm.
Jason work together. You have an agency together, right?
Yeah, we've actually worked together for probably 15 years.
Oh, amazing. Okay,
Yeah, we've
fantastic.
done so many products, it's like insane.
And you, from what I read, like because you told some of your stories, and I mean, some of your like results are incredible, and we can get into that in a minute. But you started out in the ClickBank space, in the info product space, is that right?
No, no, no. I wish that's where it would have started. I got started in 1999. I
Okay.
got a degree in engineering. My parents were happy. Got carpal tunnel, had surgery. And I'm sitting here looking around one day going, the dude to my left is much older than me. Dude to my right, much older. These guys look like the crypt keeper. They're still working. Engineering is like a high paid sweatshop.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, I can't really drive here with excitement. Quit my job. My wife, my parents all had a lot of adjectives, none that I could repeat. It was bad. First month online, I made zero. I'm using like front page 98, make no money. Next, second month, I figured out this whole SEO thing. Back in the day, we're talking like 1999, 2000, made about $10,000. Selling barn plan, PDF barn plans and printed barn plans. By 2010, became one of the top 100 affiliates at ClickBank. 2011, one of the top clients. 2012, the top vendor. So I've had ClickBank experience. I've got clients like Tony Robbins. I've trained Agora Financial. I could name drop till the cows come home, but my magic is making Colombian drug lord money for clients.
Okay.
That's the easiest way to put it.
But when you did that first step of like quitting the job to actually decide to start an online business, like back in 99, there wasn't 500 different programs or masterminds you could join. So where did you get like your info, your intel to get the first one started?
Oh, dude, you're gonna love this. Um, Back then, I'm like, I didn't know. I have a degree in engineering. I'm not a marketer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so literally, I'm like, I should learn marketing. All the marketing books were the three P's, your products, your placement. I'm like, that doesn't like I had no reference.
Mm-hmm.
There's a dude named Corey, and I'm just gonna screw his name up, what he passed away many, 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 many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
This guy was like cutting edge. So I'm like, I'm gonna just sign up for this thing. And he emailed me every day. Now, John, I know that might be hard for you to believe, but he emailed me every single day. I didn't know autoresponders existed, So I'm like, okay, he says I should rank in Google. So let's fix this. So I run to Google and like, how do I rank? Like what which craft is this? And I bought a product called Web Position Gold, and it basically spams Google. This is when you could type Disney at Google and you still get porn. Um, I like I succeeded because I only followed one person. I
Mm-hmm.
only had one thing to do, and I did it all day. It was just this, when you repeat the same action over and over, you know. And I realized just the same way I got a college degree, it was like just go every day, grind it out. Something will happen, and luckily for me, it happened very quickly because explaining to the wife you went 2 months without making money would have not been, probably a good thing.
Yes. And like making $10,000 in your second month out is wild. Like, I mean, that for most of us, it takes, a year to 2 years to get
Mhm.
to the point where that's actually realistic and possible.
Yeah. Now I was making like 3,000 as an engineer. So like making 10,000 was great. And to me, it was like this is possible. Like I was just focused on like making more plans, more. Now naturally, Google finally realized I was spamming them, de-indexed them, and that's a whole new story. But the reality of it was, it came down to just a hyper focus and doing one thing repeatedly and consistently.
That's awesome. I know this year that's like what I've made a priority to do is like just to do less stuff. So
Yeah.
I was working with lots of different clients, doing lots of different things for different people. And this year I've whittled it down to there's two things I'm doing. I'm doing actually one thing. I'm doing one job for two companies,
Mhm.
and everything else I said goodbye to for now. I
Good.
said goodbye to my last client, like copywriting client today, which was hard to do because I've been with him for a couple of years and he's a great guy, but I had to do it.
Mhm. You know, put
Um,
the knife in the back, dude. Put the knife in the back. Put some salt. Sew it up. Come back to him in 3 months, dude. Also, your sales are going down. We're going to triple charge you for what you're doing. Take him back.
no, I think it's like where I'm going is now like two things I've got. I've got a long-term focus and
Yes.
I've got one thing I got to do. And I feel a lot like this less mental clutter because all these little things you're doing, they just add up to so much mental clutter that makes it really hard to focus and to concentrate on your work.
You know, most people aren't aware there's a switching cost. Every time you switch tasks or switch businesses, you have to realign yourself. And I hear time management. I'm like, man, time management's BS. It's, are you conserving your energy? Because I can manage my time. And if I want to go to sleep, for 8 hours a day, I don't get any work done, but I manage that time good. During the work hours, Charles is sleeping. Oh, great. Give me an A for sleep. Well, it certainly wasn't productive and it doesn't manage my energy.
Hmm.
So that's a really big deal. You just have to focus on that. And unfortunately, most people still haven't realized multitasking is a lie. You know, I can do one thing 100%, or I could do two things that maybe about 20%. But then again, I've lied to myself at the end of the day because like I got so much done. No, you've just taken like exponentially 60% longer to complete and finish any task.
Yes. Now, on that subject, how do you, I mean, like it's something I'm always trying to do is like just cut out distraction and have less things. So like what do you do to actually create a good working environment for yourself during the day?
Get a good night's sleep.
Hmm. Yes,
Yeah, I
number
think
one.
that's one thing that people realize that now it's becoming with the aura ring and stuff. Sleep is very important. We also plan those days out. Actually, I plan out my week ahead of time because I can't be reacting to what's happening. I have to be in control and driving that, this case, driving that ship. Also, looking at that from a standpoint of there are certain times I'm going to be very low energy. Like if you were to come up to me and go, Charles, it's 5 o'clock. Like I can be wound tight, excited, but there are also times I'm going to be like, I just finished a 3.5 hour call. My mind is jello at this point. So, where do things go in your day that's going to give you the optimal performance? Some people are morning people, some people are afternoon. You have to track that to know where your energy is going to be the best used. Also, when you get up, I'm a real big believer in this is me. Like I love coffee. Like you'll see me probably drink multiple things of coffee a day. And I think one of the things to look at is just function on getting stuff done. Just it's not how you feel, it's just go, go, go.
You plan out the whole week. So
Mm-hmm.
how can you maybe walk me through what's a good way to plan out a week?
Well, I think part of it is what is the thing that would move the needle the most in your business? Like, I mean, tell me, like, what moves the needle in your business?
The things I'm working on, the two CMO gigs I've got, for one of them, it's like it's making sure that all the ads are working correctly every day and that the emails are going out to the list. If those two things are checked, then things are generally okay. There's lots of other things that are going to have to be done on top as time goes by, but those things are two really important
Okay.
for
Are
the.
you doing that or are you having someone else do that? Like, are you actually doing the ads and writing the emails or are you managing someone doing that?
No, I'm looking after the execution of it, like making sure
Okay.
everything's done. The creative is done by somebody else who's much more creative than me. I'm
Okay.
definitely more of a um I've definitely like project management type of stuff
Mhm.
and like organizing people and getting people together, connecting people. That's things that I'm better at. The actual like deep creative writing
Mhm.
stuff, I've realized that I've got my kind of a limitation there where and I'm working now with people who are better in that area than me. I found that's good too.
So how do you know that that's a success? I'm going to ask you, what does success look like for the media buyer, for the email writer?
It that more comes in every day than goes out.
Okay. Are you tracking that on a spreadsheet?
Yes.
Okay. At what point, and I'm just using this, we're an example, we're going through this. So I'm going to use social media. This is a class because you don't have, so you didn't mention social, I'm using that. So often you find people who are looking at social media as like, oh, I just need to get it like 25 posts out. Boom, boom, boom. But those posts make an impact? So keep that in mind. Like, what impact do they make? How fast is it going to make that impact? And just basically plan your day around your energy. Make the most important tasks you got to get done in that week. Make sure you get it done. What are the secondary tasks? And are these tasks relevant and important? And how do they actually correspond to the success of what you're doing?
Okay. One thing that's been that we're getting into with one of the two projects I'm working on is OKRs. And I don't know if you're aware of that. It's a goal setting framework. What do you think of that?
I think anything works. I mean, a pen and paper works. The reality of it is, I know people who literally have spent, Charles, like I set up my planner for 8 hours. I don't care how long you set up your planner. Is it working for you? The same reason some people drive Ferraris, some people drive Porsches, and some people drive Yugos. It doesn't, the end result is, can you get from A to B? Because if you ask, I mean, dude, there are people who are going to argue like, no, you need this, you need this, you need this. No, what can get from A to B? All of them work. There's no shortage of them. The only question is, what works for you?
Yes. I'm not a hyper optimizer. Like you used that example of what getting from A to B is like, and you talked about sleep. Like I looked at all these different things that people do to get a good night's sleep. And then I looked at myself and I was like, all I have to do is go to bed at the same time every day. And if I do that one thing, that's like 80% of the sleep problem cracked. If I go to bed at the same time, pretty much have a good sleep every night.
Exactly. And the thing is, it's just about getting consistently. When you're thinking about it, if you go to bed at 10 o'clock, tomorrow you go to bed at 9, tomorrow you go to 2, it's about consistency throughout that, optimizing your sleep. Are you rested? If you want to have a really bad day, go eat a bunch of sugar and carbs. Those things will just ruin your day and your body.
Yes. Okay. So let's switch gears back for a minute because I wanted to talk about something else you said. You said you started selling barn plants.
Yes.
And this is a really interesting thing because that's a kind of category of information products that are still really popular many years later. Like I
Yes.
see, the big one that's on ClickBank even now is Ted's Woodworking, which has been massively popular for many, many years. And
Yes.
another one I saw recently was this one, Chicken Coop Plan, where it's an info product, how to build a chicken coop. And this is the same plan. It's available for free in many places, but it's massively successful as like a direct response info product too.
Exactly. The reality of it is, like, I'm not saying anything good about any of those products. Let me just from an FTC standpoint, don't know about the products. I'm sure they're amazing. But with that said, the reality of it is people can get the stuff for free, but they're going to pay for it because it's organized information in such a way they can consume it and get the end product. You can go to YouTube and I can watch people build chicken barns all day long or chicken coops. The reality of it is it in an organized way that I could use it? People don't care about the information. They only care about that outcome.
And with you, you said you did that stuff for a long time and then you kind of went back towards the agency space. So what made you decide to step away from affiliate marketing and ClickBank and actually go back towards more being like a performance marketing agency? Is that right?
Something like that. We were actually looking at from a standpoint of what is the barrier to entry to being an affiliate?
Mm-hmm.
I got a Pulse. I have an internet connection. I'm an affiliate. The thing that happens is we're realizing at this point, the companies who were the best affiliates, like I'm gonna use a company named GiddyUp. The guys at GiddyUp are probably the best in the world. I mean, those guys, there's nobody close. In my opinion, my humble opinion, there's nobody close to those guys. They were the best affiliates out there. There started to be a transition of like realizing that being an affiliate, I can't sell it, I can't do anything. I'm at the whim of somebody else's control, and I'm just basically going up and down with the waves. Where if I do performance marketing, I get a piece of the action, which is amazing. Also, it gets me access to a higher level clientele. It gets me access into the boardrooms. It gets me access into the numbers. And from there, we could look at a business and say, you know what? I can double your business. I can triple your business, because we've had that experience. We do that. Like we can do that like people go to the bathroom, but we've done it so much that we have this very specific skill set. Now, can you say, hey, Charles, could you grow a company from scratch? I can grow my own companies from scratch, but I'm not interested in growing someone else's. If you said, hey, Charles, let me hire you to grow this, you know what? No, like I'm invested in things that make me money and become assets. I'm not invested in growing someone else's businesses.
Okay, so at this point, do you still work as a kind of growth partner with companies, or do you run your own products? Or
this still work with clients, like the type of clients we're looking for, minimum 300,000. If you're not popping out 300,000, you're not going to pay the fees. You're going to think that I'm crazy because I'm asking for like a sizable amount of money.
We should qualify that 300,000 a month, a year, a week,
per month.
Per month. Thank you.
And if you're close to it, maybe we can go there. But we want to see a sizable amount of money because to grow it actually takes money. There's this fallacy of like, I can just scale. I just need more Facebook traffic. Well, when you go to Facebook and go, can you extend my credit from like 5,000 a day to 50,000 a day? They'll say yes if you have a good credit score, if you've got done. I mean, there's a lot that goes into that. Like, what's your DUNS thing? How long have you been in business? And if you tell me, Charles, I've been in business for a month, they're not giving you 50,000 a day. Not going to happen. And like, if we were to do something like, Charles, hey, I started up tomorrow, we're doing 100,000 a day. I'm using this as a hypothetical example. I can't go to Google. I can talk to the rep all day at Facebook, at Google, almost any media buying network. They're not going to give you that kind of quote unquote ad credit. They're not even willing to work with you unless you're funded. We've done a lot with VC funding and just from knowing the VCs and getting to do things with them, like I know what they're looking for, know how they're looking. And if you don't meet their criteria, you're not going to meet my criteria. So it's about being very selective.
Okay. And you came from, or cut your teeth in the world of direct response, but it sounds like from what you're saying that the types of business and companies you work with nowadays are outside of the direct response industry. Is that correct?
Oh, no, that's wrong. I love response. You buy, you market till they buy or they die. Direct response is the greatest invention, I think, on the planet, probably other than coffee. The thing that you have to kind of keep in mind when you take direct response to these bigger companies, they're not used to it. They're going to fight you. When you see the revenues go up, you're the hero. But until then, you're a complete villain for wanting to use like a headline. You just dude, you don't understand branding. This is the font we use. Like I told a client, I don't care what font you want. It makes no difference to me. The only thing I care about is, did you make money? Did you make lots of money? So, it's just something to keep in mind.
So when you're out there, yourself and Jason, and you're sort of looking at new opportunities, what tells you when you meet somebody new? What are the criteria that tell you, hey, this could be a winner? This has got a lot going for it. What are you?
We basically have a questionnaire that we're asking, like, tell me about A, B, C, D. And if the numbers match, or there are criteria like, do you have an email list? Do you have buyers, past buyers? What is your BB rating or Better Business Bureau rating? Like, how do people perceive you in the market? We're not necessarily looking at the fact that you're donating to the animal shelter in your local neighborhood, which would be nice. But what we're looking for is, if we double your business, can you even handle it? We've had issues where we've doubled a business literally in the first 45 days, they're telling me, hey, could you slow it down? Because I kind of have production issues. Well, if I'm paid on a percentage of the increase, you got production issues, that means my money goes down. And like I tell people, I will laugh, I will joke, but when it comes to money, there's no laughing, no joking. Money talks.
Hmm. That's good. So with that, the production side, this is what I think for people who do direct response, why it's so attractive a lot of the time to work with things that are based around information or human services rather than physical products, right? Because there tends to be like, especially with information products, it's extremely scalable. You can
Mhm.
sell an awful lot. And then
Correct.
so at this point now, like what do you see as like great opportunities for direct response marketing in the next couple of years?
I think part of what we need to look at, I'm going to give you the politically correct approved answer. We should be looking at virtual reality in the metaverse and this or whatever. That's the politically correct answer. The real
Mhm.
answer is you need to go back and get this dude named Claude Hopkins. You need to get the original classics. You need to understand direct marketing. You need to do door-to-door sales, toe-to-toe. If you can do that and you have empathy and you're not really a psychopath, that's all you need. The issue is people are getting into this, and well, I'll just, I'll use an example. We had a client, we had an IT director or CTO. He's like, I don't believe in marketing. Well, dude, I don't believe in gravity, but if you jump off this building, I guarantee you your result will be the same every single time. It's just, there's certain laws of the universe that work. And from that standpoint, they need to be focused on learning classic direct response, learning how to mate that with, AI. AI can't replace you, but it certainly augments what you can do from a speed and production standpoint. And you also need to look at it as how can you use it to create real results? I mean, everybody's creating tons of content with AI, but most of it's crap, garbage in, garbage out.
Mhm. When you and Jason go to work with a client at this point, what do you actually deliver for them nowadays? Are you going away and bringing them a fully produced VSL? Are you more like strategic input? Do you do content? What do you actually bring?
Um, a lot of that I don't want to go into because we do that with clients. It's
Hmm.
kind of hard. A lot of things are proprietary, and like only thing I'll tell you is I can double your income. I can double your business growth. I can break all your systems you could imagine. I can bring your servers down to the knees with traffic, but that's not what I want to do. What I want to do is double your business, but more importantly, double and quadruple the revenue. So what we look at it at holistically, what do you need? Can we fix what you need? And if we can't, great. That's so from that standpoint, it just depends.
Okay, understood. You mentioned a minute ago about using AI, and I mean, I've started to use it in the last few months for some of my work, but I don't necessarily um, find it all that useful a lot of the time. I'm not sure sometimes if I'm just using it wrong
You're using it
or
wrong.
okay.
Let's be honest with you. Okay, let's me and you be honest. And I'm sure you're thinking like, damn, I've never invited this guy back to the
No,
podcast.
it's good. I like it.
No, no, um, like my first computer was a Commodore VIC-20,
Yeah.
which was like I wanted the 64 because it had real power. The VIC-20 was like amateur hour, but back then it would have cost about like just say a lot of money for that. I learned how to program on video games because my dad didn't buy the video games; he bought the damn computer. What happens, no matter what you do, if you got garbage in, you're going to get the out. And then you say, well, Charles, I am like John Caples level, David Ogilvy level, right? Like copywriter. Okay, great. Um, this is the problem. You know, what do you put in to get out? If you take a Ferrari, what kind of car do you drive?
I drive a Mercedes.
What kind?
It's a E200, so like
Oh,
four-cylinder
cool.
with a supercharger.
Oh, dude, I love that. I love that. Had BMW, which it just got wrecked. But long story short, how long did it take you to be comfortable to driving the crap out of that car? Like to really push the performance on that car?
Never do. I never really do. I just like cruising around comfortably. I've
Okay,
kind of got that part of like wanted to trash my cars out of my system in my 20s.
good, good, good. Okay, let me rephrase this. Chat GPT or whichever AI system is the car.
Yeah.
It can be it can be a Yugo, or it can be the Mercedes or the Ferrari, or it could be the Cadillac Blackwing. It makes no difference. The only difference is you put the driver in. How do they drive? How do they perform? What do you do to the AI system to make it produce what you need?
Hmm.
And as long as people are going like it doesn't work, I'm like, thank gosh, the world hadn't figured it out. Chat GPT has been out for a long time, way before people even figured out how to use it. I mean, 2 years ago, I had a buddy of mine show me how to use it. I'm like, that's neat. We can't use it for what we think we can use it for. It's really designed as a idea and as an assistant.
Okay. So idea generation and
Idea generation, because it doesn't have the capability to write like David Ogilvy. I mean, if it did, I would have figured that out, or someone else would have. And if they do figure it out, I promise you, they're not sharing it.
when you say as an assistant, do you mean more like a research assistant? Like you need an answer
Yes,
to a question, you need a list of different things to break a big task down into simpler tasks, that kind of stuff.
yes, exactly.
Okay.
It's kind of like if you take a screwdriver and use it for a hammer, it's just not going to work no matter what you do.
Hmm. And you mentioned a couple of times about just kind of like getting to a level with copywriting. And I know you've been doing this for so long, but like at this point in your career, how much leverage do you get from copy and how does that compare with the other things you get leverage from in your work?
Everything's about the copy. Like, like the ads are about the copy, the images are about the copy, the offers about the copy. It's the copy is the lifeblood. You know, it doesn't matter where I'm tall, short, or in between. The copy is the key to everything.
Hey, that's great to hear you say that. So it doesn't matter how long you've been doing this. It's still the core skill.
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing. Like the, a lot of people, like, okay, I'm sitting here with a real good friend of mine, Johnny Andrews. So I'm going to show you Johnny. Johnny's here. He's my
Hey,
mark.
Johnny.
He's an amazing guy. He teaches me stuff all the time. Really, he does. Like, and we were having this conversation earlier. What people mistake is they think like, and I'm going to use the copy, like let's just write amazing copy. Well, if the copy doesn't resonate with the person, like I may read the greatest copy on how to hit golf balls, but if I'm trying to figure out how to plant a garden, it doesn't work. Like, does your copy resonate with the person? Does it convince them? Does it educate them? You know, do we need small bite-sized videos, or can I have a 25-page long-form sales letter?
Mhm.
If you will read 25 pages, more for you. If you can't, if you aren't, how do we hit multiple modalities? I'm gonna have to wrap this up in 4 minutes. So I got a question for you.
Yes.
What's the last webinar you watched?
The last webinar I watched all the way through. It's probably like actually with one of the companies I'm working with. It was one of their live webinars a couple of weeks
Okay.
ago.
Okay. How about when's the last time you watched one for personal that's not, because of work?
To buy something.
Yeah.
Um, Let me think. It's probably been one of Sam Ovins's,
Okay. So probably a year ago.
maybe more. Yeah.
Okay. I'm the same way. If you go, Charles, will you watch a video? No, I'd rather have a root canal with no painkiller. I don't want to watch that. But there's some people who love the videos. I want to see a sales letter. The problem is we're creating content in a single modality, which would be the sales letter, would be the video. You need to break it down for multiple modalities. If I said, dude, would you listen to a podcast while you drove to work or exercising? Yeah. If I
Yeah.
said, would you watch a VSL while you're driving? You're like, Charles, you're a maniac. You're going to kill everybody. But understand you could take the podcast and the VSL. They're saying the same concept, the same copy, the same, steps to move this person to buy. Correct? Yes.
Hmm.
But it's in different modalities. Most people take one modality and shove it down their throat. And if you don't consume content in that way, it doesn't make a difference. I can't tell you the last webinar I watched. I can't. I don't know. I hate webinars. The people are speaking slow. I just want to know, like, like I love the presentation. I love how it's done, but like, I'm ready to go. Give me a sales letter. Give me a podcast. Give me short form snackable content. We're good. Like if I was on your list and you was Charles, the only way you can buy is watch this VSL or webinar. I can't do it because I'm going against my human nature. And people generally don't want to go against that. What is your consumption modality? Maybe you have two consumption. Maybe you like to read and maybe you like the audio. If you hit both of those, you're good. But you can't force people to do what they don't want to do. Well, you can, but not in the way they want to do it.
That's awesome. That's super insightful. And there's something I can actually directly go and talk with someone about and see if we can find a way to put that into action right away. Thank you. You got just a couple of minutes, Charles, or do you have to go right this second?
I got like 2 minutes. We can keep on going.
Okay, before you go, tell me a story about one of your projects that was super meaningful for you. Obviously, something that's not subject to NDA, something you can talk about.
Oh, okay. That's
something that was meaningful to you that you really enjoyed yourself and had a hell of a great time doing it.
okay. Launch Medical. John was this very creative character. He was behind multiple movies, multiple TV shows. My dad had passed away like 2 months earlier. He became my father figure, became my mentor. I cried the day he died. And he showed me that there is a world that I have never even experienced. And part of the product was an erectile dysfunction device for helping men, get back like they were 18. Well, I technically didn't need it, certainly like that. But for research purposes, I was like, wow. What was meaningful to me is like when you hear these testimonials from these men coming and going like, I don't really need to go into them, but they were like, we had people crying on video because of the impact it made on their life. I initially got into, I didn't care about the device. I just wanted money. I like money. I could help grow the business, but it really made a difference when you realize that erectile dysfunction affects, if you're at age 50, it affects 50% of men. If you're age 40, it affects 40% of the men. And that we actually had a device that was affordable, that was an alternative to going to urologist, which urologist would be, between $4,000 to $8,000. That was a huge impact for me.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So you got to jump. Thank you very much. I'm going to grab your details off you and people in the video description will see where they can connect with you. And thank you for your time today. And this will come out in a few weeks. Cheers, Charles.
Have a good one. All right. Bye-bye.